In this video, we cover the trend graph control. The trend graph is an Axiom chart which can be embedded within an application. As the details of the chart's components have been covered in other videos, we'll only look at its properties that are relevant to an application. First, when we place the control onto the screen, we can either add trends or import a chart that has already been created. If choosing the import option, it's important to remember that any changes made to the chart within the application will not overwrite the original. And vice versa, any changes made to the original chart at a further point in time will not be reflected in the chart we just embedded. This chart's configuration is saved within the application. Let's look at some of the properties. The trend graph is one of the few controls which can be assigned to an asset type. If a virtual view has been created within the Canary system where assets are defined, the user can choose the view along with the specific asset type. If no virtual views exist, these asset properties will not be visible. When adding tags to the chart with an assigned asset type, the user will have the option of choosing asset-based tags or other view tags as normal. If choosing the asset option, a tag from each asset instance will be placed on the chart, sharing the same band space. The number of asset instances which are trended is determined by the asset instance max count property. Additionally, filters can be applied to sort and/or include certain asset instances which meet the required criteria. Filters can be based upon a tag's current value, property value, or asset path. Here's a basic example of displaying any asset whose current temperature is greater than 50. For more information on filtering options, visit Canary's knowledge base site at helpcenter.canarylabs.com and search how to filter trend graphs. Next, we'll look at the event properties of a trend graph. Let's start with a new chart. If events are configured in the Calcs and Events screen, the user can select an event type from the drop-down list. When we go to add a trend to the chart, we now have the option to choose between event tags or normal view tags. If the event is asset-based, we'll be presented with the tags that pertain to that particular asset type. In this case, my event is monitoring a tower asset, and these are all the tags that belong to a tower. When we add them to the chart, you'll notice that tags of the same type share the same band space. Here we have the capacity tags using the orange scale and the temp tags using the blue. They are also indicated with a corresponding colored dot next to their name in the legend. The start and end times are no longer displaying actual timestamps. Instead, we start from 0 and go until the end of the longest event. The chart will return the most recent events not to exceed the event instance max count. Let's set this to 25. Users can use the event-bound end and event-bound start parameters to change the time frame over which to return events. This will accept literal or relative date times. So maybe we want to look at the time period from October 4th at 7 p.m. until midnight of last night. I can specify that here. We'll simply use day or D to normalize to the beginning of the current day. So this will return the most recent 25 event instances that occurred in that time frame. Next, we can add metadata filters to further refine the events we want to return. The key drop-down contains two default options, event status and event duration. Event status has 3 values to choose from depending if the event is completed, active, or aborted. If we select event duration, we can set a comparison value using a relative or actual time. So if we're only concerned about events that lasted longer than 10 minutes, I'll set the comparison to greater and input 10 minutes. Multiple filters can be added using the plus sign. If the event has any properties attached to it, these too will appear in the list. For this event type, we have the average water level and max temp. Let's add another filter using max temp. Event offsets are used to add some padding to the beginning and end of each event. Let's add 5 minutes to both. Event pins allow us to add one or more events to the chart that are not restricted by any of the filter criteria we've configured. These may be events that are of particular interest, such as a golden batch that we're comparing every other event to. We can use similar filtering options here to find the event of interest and select it from the list. Pinned events are drawn with a thicker line to set them apart from the other trends. They are also indicated with a star next to them in the legend. Speaking of which, if we right-click the legend, we will find attributes that are specific to event tags, including event ID, name, start, end, duration, and path. We can also display any event properties that are tied to the event. So that's all for the trend graph control. Thanks for watching.